Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Here's another blog. I kind of want to talk about something that I feel like there's only two sides of the story, and there should be a third, and that is hunting. I feel like there's that side where people portray hunting as a very vicious thing, and it's murder, and then I feel like it's the other side where you have to get the best of the best, 15 pointers, biggest turkey, biggest thing ever. And I feel like nobody talks about the middle zone. And I hunt. I've been hunting since I was 9, 10 years old. And I'd have to say it is an amazing thing to do. I remember taking that weekend course safety course where you're at a place for like 14, 12 hours, something crazy. And, I just remember taking that class and learning about gun safety and just doing all that stuff. I remember the first time I went out, I got to hold the gun, carry the gun. I got to point it and aim and get the safety off and shoot, but there was no bullets, just to get used to it. I went out today. Today was Monday, turkey season. And I was walking through the field, and it's just one of those, no one talks about that. Just, it's such a beautiful thing. And it's hard to explain, and I know some people will understand it naturally. It's beautiful to just be outside, and, it was storming before we got there. It was freaking hailing before we got there, and we got there, sun's coming up, it's foggy, and it's just beautiful being out there. And I don't feel like people talk about that. I don't feel like people ever talk about that experience where you learn something from your father figure or your dad, or, in my case it's father figure, it's my stepdad. But no one ever talks about the beauty of that, the beauty of someone teaching you something, and it's just an amazing thing, We set up, I'm not gonna lie, we got skunked today. If skunk means you didn't get anything. But I still had an amazing experience. I always do. I always have a great time. We went out, set up our we got one of those tents that pops up, and we set out and waited, and we moved after a while because we couldn't hear them, nothing, and we heard a couple shots from across from where we were at, and we're like, they'll be here, they'll flush them our way. Waited for about an hour, and then we started packing up. As soon as we started packing up, huge, Jake and Tom were like, just basically like, but we had put our stuff down, we put our guns down, we're setting up, trying to get everything kind of somewhat organized and packed up, and they're right in front of us. And it's just, it was still a good experience, it happens, but it's one thing where people don't talk about the beauty of nature, the beauty of having that experience. You'll see those pictures of a little boy sitting there with the fishing pole and the dad's right behind him, but no one ever talks about that with hunting, and it's just another side to think about. I think it's a beautiful thing, but no one ever talks about that, and I just figured I'd go ahead and talk about it. I have deer hunted. I feel like deer hunting, to me, wasn't a challenge. I thought it was kind of, I've never done it with bow and arrow. I think I'd like to do it with bow and arrow. I think turkey's a challenge. I've done quail and pheasant. I think that's a challenge. Obviously we can say it's a sport. Some people won't, but it does take physical. You got to be able to walk. You got to be able to shoot the gun. You have to be able to actually hit the target. So I'm more of a bird person, I guess I would say. So, but there's other things, like morels. I don't know if you guys know what those are. They're mushrooms, and you go hunting for them. You go looking for them, but you have to know where to look for them. You got. There's a lot to it than what people, I think, make it out to be. You got to be, just learn how to follow tracks and understand tracks. What kind of animals leave what kind of tracks, And I feel like it's a beautiful thing to learn those things and teach those things. So, I just wanted to talk about it. I feel like nobody really talks about it. They always talk about, oh yeah, I've got to get the biggest thing, or I feel like that's what it is. It's a competition, and I understand it. It is. You want to get something, otherwise it sucks when you don't get anything. But at the same time, there's valuable lessons to be in there about not getting something and experience in nature and doing all those things. And it's amazing. It really is. And I don't know if you guys watch my other videos, but you know, it's one of those things where, you know, every day I'm trying to make myself happy and trying to find things that make me happy. And, you know, looking back at my experiences from hunting, it was awesome. It's an awesome experience. Learning a lot, understanding a whole new thing. I love it. Not gonna lie, it makes me smile on the inside for sure. So, you know, we got skunk today. I will be going out next Monday. So hopefully I can have a picture or I can pull up a turkey in the next video. So I will go out again. I know there's turkey out there. We just, bad luck, bad timing, it happens. But I just wanted to talk about that. I feel like nobody talks about that, you know, and, you know, there's more to it than just what meets the eye. Like, you know, when I have a kid, girl or daughter, blah, 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 boy or girl, I will be teaching my child how to shoot a gun. I will be teaching them how to track something, and I will be teaching them, you know, how to fish, how to put a worm on a hook, you know, not to be afraid of fish, and, you know, just things like that, how to skin, you know, not skin, but how to get the meat out of a bird or a deer, and I'll teach them how to do those things. You know, they may be insignificant to some people, but it's still the point of that. It's that experience that you get to spend with your father figure, like, and it's, you can't take that away. So, I mean, that's basically about the video. I mean, you know, you guys go ahead and comment your best memory. My best memory, I would have to say, was my family went out one time. Our whole family went out. But just me and my stepdad hunted. Everybody was in the truck, and they took pictures, and we took the dogs out, and it was just a blast because we just went out hunting. I think it was North Dakota, I want to say. It might have been South Dakota, I'm not 100% sure. But we just went out and, you know, pheasant hunted. We got our limit. It was just a blast. Everybody was there. It seemed like everybody was enjoying themselves. It was cold, but it was just fun, you know, to just have that experience. My mom got a really good picture, you know. Me and my stepdad are walking side by side, and we got a dog in the middle, you know, dog off to the side, and we're just walking, holding our gun back. We got birds in our hands. It's amazing, you know. So, I mean, I can relate to it, you know, fishing and all those things, and it's just one of those. I feel like people don't talk about the other stuff. People talk about the competition or, oh, it's so freaking terrible. But I feel like people don't talk about the what it really comes down to, and that's just, you know, passing knowledge, passing something beautiful, spending that time with somebody. And, you know, I really needed it. I'm not gonna lie, I really needed it with the breakup and everything that's been going on, with all the crap that's been going on. I really needed to get out of town and just spend hours out in the middle of nowhere and just think about things. It's nice to vent to somebody that you know, you can trust. Nice to talk to somebody that you can trust about pretty important things. So, you know, that experience. So, I'd like to hear you guys' hunting stories. Hell, if you don't have a hunting story, tell me about your fishing story. I know, hell, I got a fishing story. I went out with a group of friends, and I literally just tossed it in there, got a fish. Tossed it in there, got a fish. I was dating ex-girlfriend, and she took my fishing pole. I grabbed hers, and I moved, and I just went again, and I kept catching. And everybody thought it was the same fish, so we started netting them. And I was just catching fish after fish. And then she took my spot. I moved further down, and then I just kept fishing with a different thing, too. And I just kept fishing, kept catching. All my friends are sitting there, like, trying to do something. Like, what are you doing? They're like, nothing, I'm fishing. And my ex's ex was like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. And I'm like, alright, I got this shit. So, as a joke, I literally tied a hook onto some rope, put a little piece of worm, and I tossed it in there. I'm like, I'm not going to get anything. Literally, I had a bite. It was the greatest thing ever. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, everyone has their experiences, and, you know, I hope everyone has good ones. And, you know, if you've never hunted, if you've never fished, if you've never done that, I'd highly recommend it. Even if you're a girl, like, you should learn these things. Not because, how do I say this? It is something that you can't take away. There's something about shooting a gun for the first time. There's something about smelling that shell. There's something about waking up in the middle of the freaking night, basically. Showing up, it's dark, it's beautiful lights. You know, all the lights you have are the sky, and you're hanging out with someone you care about, you know, hopefully. And, you know, that first shot, it's a beautiful, awesome experience. So I hope someone feels the same way about it. I hope I can hear some awesome hunting stories, some awesome fishing stories. Comment below. Hell, if you want to make a video response, I'd love to see it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I just, like I said, I want to talk about that thing that nobody seems to talk about, and I think it's awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like my haircut. My sister cut my hair. I'll make another video sometime within this week, talk about what's going on this week. So peace out.